All right, so as we approach December 21st, the inaugural World Meditation Day, it is an ideal moment to reflect on the significance of this global observance. Now, recognized by the United Nations, this day underscores the importance of meditation in enhancing mental, emotional, physical well-being. India, a key proponent, remember, also the place where it all started, of this initiative, continues to lead in promoting holistic health practices worldwide.
Right. In anticipation of World Meditation Day, individuals and communities are already being encouraged to explore what meditation's benefits are. We all talk about the obvious: stress reduction, calming ourselves, reducing perhaps anxiety, also improve focus and emotional balance. But what more is going on there? What are the long-term benefits? What's happening to our brain? Engaging in meditation can foster a sense of inner peace. We all know that. It can contribute to a more harmonious global society. That's at least what Meditation Day is setting out to promote. As we prepare to observe this day, we would advise you to consider setting aside a little time this weekend to experience meditation. It will be difficult in the beginning, but over time, it may lead to huge benefits. To tell us a little bit more first about the science. So when we tell you need to meditate, what's actually happening in the brain? To break it down for us, we thought it would be really, really cool to bring on to the show Dr. Sweta Adatia. She's a specialist neurologist and a founder of the Limitless Brain Lab, and she's joining us live this morning from Dubai. Good morning, Doctor. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Doctor, if we could start off by asking you first, ये meditation है क्या चीज़? We talk about it, but is there academic consensus on what the word meditation actually means?
Right. So thank you very much for inviting me on this show. And I'm Dr. Sweta Adatia. I joke and I say I'm a brain plumber. I fix broken brains, but that's a very boring day job. What is very important is to understand how the brain functions and what can we do about it. Now, meditation, unfortunately, at this time, we don't have a consensus definition, which is actually very interesting, which means, it can be interpreted in multiple forms. So firstly, let me put that way that when I started my own journey, I thought meditation is one unproductive tasks. You just sit there and do nothing. So मेरे को लगता था कि ये बिल्कुल boring task है, इसमें कुछ नहीं रखा है. I used to travel with my spiritual teacher, and morning 5 o'clock, there used to be this meditation class, and I would say, oh, I'm happy horizontally meditating. I'm just happy sleeping off, rather than sitting and doing the meditation. And many years passed by, I had a significant emotional trauma in my life. Upheaval happened. And then, it's like a phone a friend kind of a thing. Now I remember, oh, I need to go back and get to those early morning 5 a.m. meditation. So that's where my journey began. But since I was a neurologist, I thought, let's see what is going on in the brain. The very first time when my own brain was scanned, pre and post, just simply 5 minutes post meditation, there was a huge shift in a very simple wave called theta. So let me talk a little bit about the 4 fundamental brain waves. So as I'm talking to you and as you are listening, there is a strong wave called beta, which is the high functioning wave, which is active. The moment we close our eyes, there's something called alpha, which comes in, which is a slow sinusoidal wave. The moment we get little deeper, just before we go to sleep, there is this theta. And as we go to sleep, there is delta. So what we saw, at least in my brain, what I saw, and it was completely mesmerizing, that there was a huge theta shift which happened. And theta happens right at the back of the brain here, allowing you to be calm, to be still, to be perfectly centered, as you were talking about prior, that you feel good, all the health benefits, and everything starts to come with those brain changes. So when that happened, I said, wow, let's do a deep dive. We invited some 15 meditators, and that was a journey from then on.
Wow, that's quite something, and would love to sort of pick on more, all different waves there. But Dr. Sweta, what has your research really shown is the effect of meditation on the brain? What exactly happens when you go in that shunya state of mind, as they say?
Absolutely. So when we invited these 15 meditators, these were significant meditators over a period of time. They had accumulated few thousands of hours of meditation. And then, of course, we also compared their brain waves with the non-meditators. So there were three fundamental things that we saw in these people. The number one thing was that they had a lot of this theta, which I just talked about, the slow theta wave, and they had a lot of gamma wave. Now, gamma is almost like a very fast super frequency, 30 to 100
showing
hertz,
it to our
very
audiences
good
there.
for overall brain. Yes, the one which was on the top out there, and then what you're seeing right now is the theta. Yes, the one at the top, 30 to 100 hertz, is the gamma wave. So gamma is like consolidating, it just coordinates all the brain functions. It's like one super brain wave to have. So we saw that they had a lot of gamma. We did see on the next slide, as you see, the red, which is going across, which is the theta wave. There was a lot of extra theta, very, very important. Both sides of the brains worked harmoniously, which is extremely important. And the third very crucial and important finding was that they had a very quietened emotional system. Now, we often operate with a rational brain and an emotional brain. Most of the times, the stress, the issues that we face in life, even the sleep disturbances, everything comes from the hyper functioning, over functioning of this emotional system. All these people had this area which was quietened down. And one of the major outcomes of this is that you stop to ruminate. If I ask you right now what is going on in your mind, automatically something which happened yesterday would pop up, because that is how the brain processes, right? You may be thinking, oh, what did I do last evening or last morning? So that rumination for some people can be ongoing and leading to all the stress and problems. So in these meditators, we saw literally no rumination. So technically, they were present. They were right here, you know. So that is what we found. And it was just amazing to see the changes happening fairly fast. So when I started my own journey, we did a serial scans, because obviously with the lab, I had the opportunity to do that. And it was just amazing to see how these changes then become physiological changes. They become permanent. So we do change our brains over a period of time.
Okay, doctor, that actually takes us then to our next question. Tell us, I know they've done studies, for example, on the brains of monks, but monks and the people you talked about a little earlier, these are long-term meditators, right? When it comes to those who are not long-term meditators, people who are starting the practice maybe 1 year, 2 year into the practice, if we wanted to give them a little motivation today to continue, what does your science say? A, how long does one need to meditate in a day to see the effects? B, how deep does that meditation need to be? So, you know, do they need to feel the stillness for the entire 20 minutes? If their brain is moving, is that all right? Can you even measure that? And how many years in do they start seeing those changes happen?
Beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. Now, first of all, whatever, there are many types of meditation. There's transcendental meditation, there is anapanasati, there is breath meditation, there is mindfulness, there is tratak or focus. Now, it all depends on what you're choosing, and that's why we have come up with something called neuromeditation to understand what your mind needs. That is very, very important, because some minds are overthinkers. There's somebody who needs to let go. So all this can be the outcomes which we can decide before starting the meditation. Now, the first time when people start meditation, it is going to be very difficult. All the to-do lists come in, all the things which you don't want to think sort of, you know, bombard. It's like a mind flurry. There's like thoughts and thoughts and thoughts which come up. This is normal. This is for every single person who starts the meditation. So one should not be afraid by it. What I feel is all this sitting still and watching your mind and watching your breath and watching all the body functions, what is happening, etc. and all, it is all preparation to meditation. I often say you don't do meditation. Meditation must happen. So as you continue to do it, you sort of evolve, you progress. Once your brain changes, automatically what is right for you sort of emerges out. But very, very important, as people are starting out, to your question, give at least 5 minutes of eyes closed. I take a lot of workshops and seminars, and I ask people, in your entire day, do a little bit of audit. Are you producing alpha? As I said before, alpha is only produced when you close your eyes, when you just sit closing your eyes. Now, people do answer me back saying that literally a minute or two, that's all that they close their eyes with all the phones and the gadgets and everything around. Now, if I want to build a biceps muscle here, I don't just look at the muscle and say, hey, build. I have to work towards it, you know. So I have to work towards first building my alpha. So just sitting for 5 minutes, building that. And then I go ahead and take it a little further. So just to simplify the process at our lab, we have created a very simple thing called movers. So M, of course, for meditation. O for oxygenation. Breathing is the very first fundamental before even entering meditation. Because proper breathing actually does a lot of benefits to the brain. It allows your mind to be calm. You know, it's like a mind is like a Ferrari. It's going at 150 kilometers of speed. And then you say, hey, stop, you know. You can't even stop a car at that speed. It will skid. There will be accidents. So you really need to prepare. You need to decelerate. You really have to make sure that you bring it to the right thing. And that happens through breathing. So oxygenation, O. V is visualization. You know, when you close your eyes, visualize what is your future like, what needs to be learned, what needs to change. Very, very important to build those brain waves. E, exercise and grounding. I'm a huge fan of grounding. The best way, the moment you touch the earth, the moment you touch the ground, there is the shamanic frequency, 7 to 8 hertz, which is formed, which is exactly the alpha's frequency. So you don't have to really do anything. Just few minutes of bare walking on the foot, on the ground, barefoot is just that you require. R for reading something affirmative or positive. Now, the moment we wake up in the morning, look at the thing. We were in delta, deep, slow wave delta, and suddenly I take up my phone and that's this beta, 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 which is firing. So I'm completely disserving the brain, going from a slow rhythm to a very fast rhythm. So what I need to do is read for at least 5 minutes, something which is positive, something which is affirmative. And then negative thoughts obviously is part of the mind's process. It's negative, positive, that's how the mind operates. So write down anything which is negative and remove it. So 5 minutes each is what is recommended for the early initiators when you're starting out. And then of course, meditation is addictive. It's super it's intoxicating, you know. Once you start doing it, all the chemicals come in, the natural chemistry, serotonin, dopamine, whatever you needed then starts to happen. And then you don't leave it, you know, you just keep progressing. So that's the journey.
All right, Dr. Sweta, thank you so much. This has been a mind-boggling chat, as they say. And also want to know what is the process of signing up. Would love to know what chemical reactions are going on in our brains. In our brains as well.
Absolutely.
Would love to.
You know, it's always good to see when you watch what is happening. You know, you get that conviction that wow, if I can do this in 5 minutes, and if I continue doing this.
So that was the whole point of having you on the program, to sort of understand the science behind it. It's not a myth. It's not just something that monks who've sold their safaris and Ferraris, beg your pardon, do it. But this is for everybody, even for scientists. Thank you so much, Dr. Sweta, for joining us and bringing that perspective. If that was not enough to